So a question I get asked a lot by different people on my YouTube channel is, how could I solve a virtual cube on csTimer? How do I get this whole thing set up? And so that's what I'm going to be explaining to you guys in today's video. First of all, go ahead on to csTimer and you're going to have, just like the timer set up and stuff. Obviously, if you hold spacebar, it's going to start the timer. It might look a little different for you guys, but when you stop it, that's the gist of it. But you guys are probably wondering, how do I get a virtual cube here? How do I solve a virtual cube? And so that's what I'm going to be explaining. So as I said, go to csTimer.net, click on the option button in the top left corner, go on down to timer, entering in times width, click on the box that says timer, and change it to virtual, hit OK, and now you have a cube here. The next question you guys are probably wondering is, how do I know which keys to hit to solve this? And the answer is, if we click on this little csTimer thing here, it switches to about. If we click on it, and we go on down to keyboard shortcut, scroll on down a little bit more, there's actually a virtual cube key map here. So every keyboard key is up here, and then the move that it does is in bold. So as you can see, as just one example, if you wanted to do an R turn, then you'd hit the I key. And so if you take a screenshot of this, and then you put it side by side, put that in a window side by side with csTimer, then now if you hit spacebar, it'll scramble your cube, and you could look at the virtual cube key map and see which keys you're supposed to hit to solve it. So if we hit A, it'll do a Y prime. If we do H, it'll do F. D, it'll do S. L, it'll do D prime, etc., etc. You could keep on referencing this to solve it. And then after you do enough solves, eventually all of these moves get into your muscle memory and you remember which keyboard key does which move. And then you're able to solve it without a reference. Now that we've established all of that, there are a couple of personalization things that you guys could do on top of that. So if we click the option button and we go down to virtual and Bluetooth, then it says VRC base speed TPS is 10. You might be wondering what that is. So let's hit OK real quick. You guys don't have to, but I'm just going to do it for demonstration's sake. If I start solving this, what the VRC base speed TPS option is it's how fast does each move look on your screen, animation-wise. So when I do some moves, if the VRC speed is set at the default, which is 10, then it'll look pretty fluid when you're doing moves, like this. Whereas, if I turn it up to 20, it'll look a lot less fluid, but it'll still have animation. If I turn it down from 10 to something else like, say, 2 moves per second, then it'll look like this. And so you might be wondering, of what use is this to me? And the answer is, I'd recommend for beginners that they have their option set on 10 or lower, because that makes it a lot easier to tell when you hit each keyboard key what exact move it's doing. Because before you memorize the key layout, you need to be able to look at it and say, when I hit this key, it's going to do that move, and I could see it do that move, just like a normal cube would. It's all about getting you used to solving a virtual cube, because you don't want to be solving on something that's completely different of an experience both tactile-wise and visually, than an actual cube. So by turning down the animation, you could preserve the visual style of a real cube. But the better you get at it, the more you might desire to turn it up. For example, I have mine set on 20, and the reason I have it set on 20 is because it makes it a lot quicker for me to get input, visual input, of what the next move I should make is. AKA, when I'm going like that, I get visual updates a lot easier when it's set to a higher number. Now, the question of what happens if you hit infinity is infinite turns per second are animated, which just means that there are no turns per second animated. The animation's just turned off. So if I start solving it, it's going to look all clippy and kind of weird. But once you get used to it, I'm still in a gray area, opinion-wise, whether this is actually theoretically faster with no animation than with like 20 or something like that. I like 20 because, you know, it preserves the look of a real cube. It doesn't look all choppy. But at the same time, theoretically, if I was even faster, I might prefer to have it on something like infinity. That way, the animation doesn't get in the way of my look ahead. And one final thing that I'll show you guys is if we go to option and then display, then there's zoom here. And it's normally set to 100% if I'm not mistaken, but we could change it. So if we look at the cube, it's pretty small right now relative to the screen size. So if we hit zoom, we click on the box, and we click 125, now the cube is a lot bigger. So that makes it a lot easier if you'd prefer to be looking at a bigger cube. If the cube looks too big, obviously you could turn it down. Obviously this is kind of silly in my opinion, but like, to each their own, you know. I feel like everyone's preference when it comes to cubing is probably different, so I really can't judge anyone. If they have some sort of setup I'd call silly, because as long as it works for them, that's the important thing. So my options are generally set up to 20 TPS and a zoom size of, I'm pretty sure it's usually 125. For some reason right now that looks a bit big, so I'd say probably 110 for me is what I'd recommend. But as I said, to each their own. Everyone will probably find a different size that they prefer for their cube to be. And then finally, I know that I said finally before, but this is actually finally. Over here, underneath the timer, there are a lot of extra numbers. So what do these mean, and how do I get them set up? Well, if we go into option, and we hit, let's see here. I forgot which tab it's under. Oh yeah, it's under virtual and Bluetooth. So option, virtual, and Bluetooth. Multi-phase is naturally, I think, set to none, which means if I do a solve, I'll do a solve real quick. As you can see, all it says is the solve time, the number of moves, and the TPS that the solve was. But if we go into option in virtual and Bluetooth, then it says multi-phase, and if we click on that, we have a lot of different options here. So the option I generally roll with, or at least the option I had it set to up until recently, has been Cpop. So what this will do is, I won't do the solve super fast, but just like you do the cross, it says how long the cross took. You do F2L, it says how long F2L took. OLL, it says how long OLL took, and PLL, and it says how long PLL took. As well as on top of that, the total time and the total number of moves in the TPS. I think probably the most useful one to have, as long as you get used to the way it looks, is, well, maybe Cpop, because with Cpop, you could time your splits of how long the cross takes, F2L takes, OLL and PLL takes, each one of them. But I think that Cpop, this option with the 4 Fs, is probably a good option too for an intermediate or advanced solver, because it times every single F2L case. So as you can see, I know it starts to get cluttered. That's also why I'd probably recommend at this point turning the zoom down a little bit so it doesn't look too gross. But we have the time, we have how long the cross took, how long each F2L pair took, how long OLL took, and how long PLL took. So I'm pretty sure that's pretty much about it. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, if we go into, if we're in display, and, sorry, if we go into color, then there are colors here. So we could change the cube colors. So I'm not going to mess with these, but this is the default layout. It has the yellow, orange, blue, white, red, and green. So if you picture a normal 3x3 Rubik's Cube, and you imagine where all of these colors are on it, if you change one of these to a different color, like if you change orange to a different color, you could just imagine to yourself on a normal 3x3 that normal 3x3's orange would be a different color. So when you change all 6 of these, that'll affect the look of your cube. You could also do that. Oh, I forgot to mention, it's very cool. I was only showing you guys 3x3 this whole time. But if we go up here, it says WCA on this side and 3x3x3 on this side. If we click on 3x3x3, there are all of these options, literally all of these options. If we click 2x2, it's a virtual 2x2. Cool. If we click 4x4, it's a virtual 4x4. I'm not even going to try to solve this because that'll take too long. Oh man, did my computer crash? I think csTimer just froze or something, so that was very, timing-wise, very unfortunate. But yeah, I'm not going to solve that, but as you guys can see, that works. 5x5, this works too. Very cool. 6x6. Look at this. Look at this beast. Look at the size of this beast. Now, I don't solve anything bigger than 5 just because I'm lame and I haven't gotten into any of that yet. But yeah, all this stuff's really cool. With that said, because I don't solve anything bigger than 5 right now, I don't know what these triangles are or any of that stuff. But, you know, someone out there who's actually educated on solving 6x6 and 7x7 virtually probably, you know, understand all that. And hopefully someday I will too. You know, I'll probably almost definitely get into those events eventually. There's 7x7. Now, as for things like 3x3 blind, oh shit, I didn't even know it could do that. That's so cool. That is cool. That is legit the coolest thing I've ever seen. I never tried 3 blind before, like virtually, and like, look at that aesthetic. So I just 3 blinded my cross, so that's cool. But like, wow, that is just amazing. We have FMC, which like, I don't think FMC does anything. No, it doesn't. It's just a normal 3x3. OH is just a normal 3x3. But I'd assume you'd solve it with one hand. I mean, that's what I do when I practice virtual OH. If you guys want to see any videos of that, you can just let me know. I'll probably upload eventually. We have virtual, for clock, they don't have a virtual clock. Megaminx, there is a virtual Megaminx. I have my own custom color scheme on it with black. Pyraminx, I don't solve Pyraminx. At least I don't do timed solves, but there it is. Very cool. You could just, for some reason spacebar is not working when I click on that. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, for some reason Megaminx not working for me. It'll probably work for you. We have a virtual cube, same sort of thing that's not working for me, probably will for you. Square one, and that is actually fantastic. Look at this. Look at this beauty. Look at this beauty. This is beautiful. This is actually beautiful. Like the number of cubes that are on csTimer virtually for free. Like, I don't even buy physical cubes anymore. I save so much money because I got into virtual cubes. And I know that sounds silly or cheesy, but like, hey, if it works. Like, I actually, you know, I'm faster at virtual cubes than I am at normal cubes now. I like virtual cubes more than normal cubes now. So like, now it's what I prefer actually. And you know, if that works, that's cool, you know? So that's just, this is just amazing. There's 4 blind, which I cross my fingers and hope it's the same deal. But csTimer is freezing up on me. Is this it? Oh, that's so cool. You could practice 4 blind. That is so cool. Same for 5 blind. What? I never saw the blind thing until now, and I just think that's so freaking cool. Okay, and finally 3x3 multi-blind. I don't even know how this works. It gives 5 scrambles. Oh, so you could type in like, I want 10 scrambles, and then it'll be like, okay, I'll give you 10 scrambles. And then you click on it, and it's just showing me a 5x5, so I don't know if 3x3 multi-blind works. Okay, so for 3x3 multi-blind, there's no virtual option set up, which is kind of a shame, but with that said, we got normal 3 blind and all that stuff, and that's just so cool. Like, that's just so lovely. Like, legit, I want to speed blind this now. I want to do actual speed blind solves, because that's so cool. But yeah, I think that's pretty much a comprehensive thingy about every virtual cube option and setup and everything in here. So yeah, pretty sure that's everything. Is 15 puzzle? Why is there even 15 puzzle? It's not even... Oh, if you click on WCA... Oh. Now I'm actually really curious which ones of these are real, like, thingies. Square 2? That's not a real thingy. 15 puzzle is, as we saw. It's just not coming up for me, apparently. But, as it said in the options for the color schemes, it apparently is. Oh, and it's cool because if you go into, you know, click on WCA, you click on 3x3 subsets, you could actually choose different ones. For example, we have last slot plus last layer, even though for some reason it says old. This is still my favorite 3x3 subset to practice on here, because you just go like that, and like, you know, it's just, I don't know, there's just something about it. You don't have to scramble any of the cube at all, and you get free practice. It's just beautiful. This entire website is just beautiful. So yeah, I'm trying to think of if there's anything I'm forgetting, but I'm pretty legitimately sure I have covered at least about 95% of all of the virtual everything on csTimer. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you guys give all this a shot, see if you can get any use out of it, because it sure is really fun. And oh, you could even put in your own scrambles. I'm learning alongside you guys. So if I go like, if I type in like sexy move, for example, I know it means like an actual scramble, but like sexy move. I click on it. Wow. Amazing. That's just fantastic. That's just beautiful. Whoa, look at that. Look at my stats. Look at that. That's a 19 TPS sexy move. And you guys could practice your sexy move too. So thanks for watching. I'm gonna go. It has been fun. And I will catch you all in the next one. Keep on rocking. I feel like another YouTuber already uses that phrase. Yeah, keep being awesome. I'll see you guys later. Sayonara, etc., etc. Catch you on the flip. I bet this typing's really loud in the microphone, so I apologize for that. But yeah, I'll see you guys. Have a good one. Bye.